watching The Love Chat with David Hart, happening now, live. The Love Chat with David Hart.
Oh, yun, naririnig ko.
Ayun mga kaibigan. Oy, magandang araw sa inyong lahat and ayan, good evening sa Canada and good morning naman sa Pilipinas and welcome po sa The Love Chat with David Hart. At syempre mga kaibigan, napaka-espesyal ng ating episode dahil ito, virtual reunion ng inyong mga favorite DJs, yung mga DJs na napapakinggan nyo in the past ay siyempre makakausap natin. Napaka-espesyal kaya bago sila ma-introduce mga kaibigan, ito muna, I would like to siyempre invite everyone na mag-join kayo sa amin sa aming kwentuhan, sa aming balitaktakan at definitely you are going to enjoy our show, ladies and gentlemen. At siyempre, ito na, uumpisahan natin ang ating introduction sa mga kaibigan nating talagang naghihintay ng mga DJs na nasa kabilang linya mga kaibigan. Ito na, umpisahan natin. Ito, broadcaster by profession, voice actor by career. Siguro napapakinggan nyo na siya sa ibang mga cartoons. Ayan, sa Pilipinas. At syempre, Captain of the Mothership Recording Studios. Mga kaibigan, palapakan natin si Direk Brian Lisay, formerly DJ Big Brian. Ayan, hello.
Yay! Hello.
Kumusta, Brian?
Kumusta? Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's nice to be back here sa ating Love Chat with David Hart. At mas magulo ang ating program today. Yay! Uy, hindi lang ako sa cartoons na
Oo na. Sige. Basta, marami kang maikikwento mamaya, Bri, ha? Standby ka lang muna, bro.
Mamaya kukwento ko kung saan tayo lumalabas.
Yan, medyo, ang ganda ng audio mo, Para ka na nag-voice acting.
Comes with a job, bro. Comes with a job.
Okay, sige. Ito naman ang ating next guest, mga kaibigan. Ayan, ito. Matagal kong nakasama itong mga kaibigan. At syempre, talagang nung nagdi-DJ pa kami nung high school, or should I say college pa kami, no? Sa isang shopping mall. Lagi kaming, alam mo yun, nagtatawanan, nagkukulitan. Parang, ano lang kami talagang, we're best buddies ng aking kaibigan ito na former event host nga, voice-over talent, who's been in the industry for the past 25 years. And he is now an events director and still does voice work for some of the events he directs. He's also a former FM DJ and is also an aspiring photographer, writer, and lyricist. Ayan, baka mabigyan tayo ng ang mga tips ng ating kaibigan si John Derrickson. Palakpakan natin mga kaibigan. Hello, John.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Canada. And good morning, Pilipinas. How's everyone?
Ayan. Kumusta ka naman, John?
Ito, mainit. Naka-electric fan, but I'm doing well. Thanks so much,
And,
David.
thanks for joining us, John. I really appreciate that, okay?
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure.
All right, so I'll get back to you. And ito mga kaibigan, ang ating susunod na guest. Ito siguro napakinggan niyo na siya noon sa Pinoy Radio DM 95.5. Ito sa pangalan pa lang gintong-ginto na at syempre yung puso niya talagang ginto. Ayan, ang kaibigan natin. Let's all welcome si Andy Gold.
I'm back.
Para focus na focus yung
Yes, good evening sa lahat sa Canada. I know it's evening, right? So
evening in Canada, yeah.
Morning sa Pinas.
Yan.
Gusto sa'yo, David Hart, and to my colleagues.
Kumusta naman ang staying at home mo? Andy Gold. Kumusta naman ang
Nakabotay ako eh. Maghanda ako eh.
Ayan, ito na. Ang mga kaibigan at ayan, kitang-kita na tayong apat. So, welcome once again mga kaibigan sa ating kwentuhan, virtual reunion ng inyong mga favorite DJs. Ayun, favorite daw, ano? Parang nakikinig talaga sila dati.
I doubt that.
Ayun.
Well, for me, anyway.
Okay.
Hindi, tayo no? Kala mo ba?
Oh, sige. So, ano, kumusta na kayo guys? Anong konting backstory naman dun sa pagkakakilala natin. Siyempre, matagal na yun, ano? Kailangan pa ba nating sabihin yung taon?
Yeah, I think we have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were 18? Ganun ba?
Yeah, we were 8.
Kaya
When we all
like
met,
that.
that was 2012, right?
Wow. Okay.
Tutas.
Parang kailan lang, ano? Oo, mga...
Wala
2012
pa akong
lang.
kamuang-muang nun, bro.
Ayan, young at heart, kumbaga. O
Hindi,
sige,
mga
okay.
ano yun. In all honesty, it's like around 1995, 96 when it started, right?
96.
Ayan,
Oo,
96.
96. 96.
O, tanongin
It
natin
was
si ano.
96.
Tanongin natin si John Derrickson. Paano ka ba nagsimula at paano ka yung nahilig mo doon? Yun nga, sige. Kwento mo sa amin.
Wow. I had no intention of being a DJ. I was just doing it for fun in high school.
Mhm.
People said, "Hey, you got a nice voice and you speak well. So why don't you try to become a DJ?" As a matter of fact, I only wanted to join the food and beverage industry. And I did work as service crew for McDonald's, Carl's Jr., and then eventually I joined Tita Paring Sumanlatik.
Oh. Remember that?
But that's not before I became a DJ at Radio Shopsville, and that was purely by chance. My brother encouraged me to join. We were walking inside the mall, and then all of a sudden we heard the DJ, and then we realized they were broadcasting inside the mall. We came on over. They told us they didn't pay, but they'd be more than happy to train us, and that's how I started. So
Nice.
the moment I jumped in, joined Shopsville, and then eventually Radio Veramol, and then Real Radio in the year 2000 when I joined RJ. It was known as The Hive 100.3 at the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, The Hive. I had the air name John the Beetle. In between, I'd host weddings, I'd host debuts, debutante birthday parties, mall shows inside different shopping centers, and eventually I became a corporate voiceover talent and for live events. And eventually I became an event director. Well, that's few and far between also. That's like 20% of what I
Nice.
do for a living. But 80%, it's all voiceover work, live, most of them. And the other 20% is recorded for audiovisual presentations. So
Kung nasa RJ ka, hindi ka naman nagtatago. Kasi sabi mo, The Hive. The Hive pala.
Hive yun, hive.
actually, the tagline for the radio station at the time, 20 years ago, was The Hive 100.3, the country's first and only radio cafe. And I was on board for the very first time. I auditioned together with a friend, Byron Cosio.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, he wasn't accepted. I was taken in. And Alan Sevilla, his name on the station, his air name was Alan Nat. And he was the first guy to go on board with me. He technically showed me the ropes. Unfortunately, Alan passed away just recently, and
Okay.
he was just in his 40s.
Wow.
So yeah,
Ayan,
A good man.
nakakalungkot naman
Good
yan.
Yeah.
Yun nga. So, thank you for sharing. And ito naman, unahin natin si kaibigan natin, Andy Gold. Ito. Napakinggan ko to dati. Ano ka raw, habang nagbo-board ka talagang nagmimina ka raw. Parang humina yung audio mo, bro. Mahina, oo.
Humina.
Ayan.
Yeah.
Yan. Malakas na. Sige, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Long time ago. Ang hirap long time ago. So it all started when I was 18. So
Sabihin mo na lang kanina. Sige.
from being a dancer. I was a dancer in TV shows during the Tiger days, Tiger times. I don't know if you watch the Tiger sa Penthouse. So I used to dance. Nakapag-sayaw ko sa Penthouse two times, I guess. Then after that, I shifted to pag-DJ na sa club muna. Started sa club. I was 18. So first time I tried the club, na puro bading pala yung pagdi-DJ ko. Isang linggo lang ako tanggal. So, mahina pa ako. So, I tried another one. So, it's another club. I don't know if you heard the all the way thing. You know, yung mga girls, pagpunta mo para kami sa paraiso. Kasi please welcome on stage. Yeah, something like that. You know,
Hindi ko alam yung mga ganung bagay. Hindi ko.
Inosente kami dyan, bro. Inosente kami dyan.
Huwag mo kami idadamay dyan.
Never.
Kahit kailan.
Ang galing, nakakatuwa kasi iba-iba yung mga pinagdadaanan natin, no? Bago nakarating tayo dun sa gusto talaga natin. And DJ Brian nga, syempre nakasama natin si DJ Brian, ano? And ikwento mo nga sa amin, yung iba mo pa bang trinay bago ka talaga napunta dun sa mismong gusto mong profession? O, diba?
At alam mo naman kasi we were as young as we were.
Yan. Okay. Parang medyo na ano yata yung connection ni...
Hello?
Hello? Yan, okay na. Bri.
Okay, can you... Yeah, like I said, I was a medical technology student before.
Oo nga.
Tapos, medyo, alam mo na, kapos ang pamilya, hindi kaya magpa-doktor. So, and I hate memorizing and everything, and I was afraid of my own blood. So, I had a teacher, I had a professor doon na ininganyo ko, what are you doing there? You should not be in medtech. You should be in masscom, sabi niya sa akin. So, nag-shift ako from medtech to masscom. Yeah. Doon nag-open up ang opportunities. Lumalabas ako sa mga TV shows before, Abangan ang Susunod na Kabanata, Okidokidok, Home Along the Riles, Flames, Hoy Gising. Akalat-kalat ako dyan. And then, eventually, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, medyo na ano yung audio mo. Sige, tuloy mo lang.
Yeah. Tapos after noon, syempre, I was working sa isang channel noon, Channel Philippines Network, and it was with Sunny Laragan. You guys, of course, remember the guy.
Oh yeah.
And
syempre.
I was doing OJT in his station before, and siya yung nagsabi na he has this small radio thing happening in Green Hills, and he wanted to try me out there. So, doon, nag-training na lang konti. Atong ko unang na-meet James. Si Andy Goldie. Bumisita lang doon one time, di ba? Doon tayo nakapagkwento doon. Lahat na nag-judge pa rin doon together with the other old folks. So it became a training ground for us during that time. And in one event, meron yatang mall parang sale, yung Shopsville noon. Usually nilalabas natin yung equipment ng ng radio booth doon sa labas. At doon tayo nag-DJ. Remember that?
Yeah.
Tama. Parang pang-come on, di ba? At ang hilig pa nga mag-adlib ni Sir Sunny noon. Naalala ko na,
Parang slow motion si ano ngayon. Nagkakaproblema yung audio ni Brian.
Slow mo.
O sige. I-continue natin yan kay DJ Brian, ano? Ayan.
Slow mo.
Slow mo. Nag-i-slow mo si
baka
Brian
naka-slow.
muna, Brian. Sige. Alam niyo guys, to be honest, hindi ko ma-recall kung paano ba talaga ako nagsimula doon. I think I dropped by Shopsville and nakita ko yung station, di ba? And I think I talked to Sir Sunny. And yun na, siguro doon na nag-umpisa. And then, I remember, ang naaalala ko yung vividly is, nakilala ko talaga si John. Yan. Kami talaga yung magkabatak niya noon eh. Kasi, nung kay Brian yata, medyo later part pa yata sila. Correct me if I'm wrong, ha? Medyo, yung memory ko,
It's hazy. And it's a long
hazy,
time ago.
Oo.
It's 24 years ago.
Pero,
24 na ba?
yeah, pero it was an amazing experience, you know? Siyempre, if you're really starting out, right? Siyempre, bata pa tayo noon, hilig mo talaga yung mag-DJ and you were dreaming of becoming a pro. Well, in the future, right? Na nung time na yon. Pero talagang para lang tayo naglalaro, di ba? Pinupunta tayo kay Tita Parings.
Wait, free plug-in, ha?
Yan,
Kita
so,
pa rin. Sumaldatik.
so,
Oh,
anong masasabi niyo nung kasagsagan nung bakit nagkaroon ng parang mga ganong parang is it a marketing is it like yung maganda yung ganong concept na may radio sa loob ng shopping mall.
Actually, it started sa Cinema Square. Yan ang pioneer sila, Sgt. Pepper.
Was that
They're
Makati
the-
Cinema Square?
Yeah, in Makati,
Then,
near Don Bosco. That's the beginning of that concept back in the 80s pa.
80?
So, 80s pa yan eh. Kasi I have my friend there who was the station manager. His name is Eric J. He's from Canada, by the way. Hi, Eric,
Oh,
if you're
nice.
watching. No, we'll just share it. He's the guy who's heading that booth system. And Martin D. Yan sila, Sgt. Pepper, Martin D.
Oh,
Tsaka
okay.
si Eric J. Actually, si Eric J. talagang pinaka-head doon. But hindi na siya nag-pursue ng DJ. So Sarge started sa, I think, RX. Kinuha siya ng RX. Doon nag-start ng career ni Sarge.
Oh,
Sa Makati
nice.
Square. So, ang tagal, no? 85, mga bandang 85 yun eh. 85, 86, 87. Tapos, kung nag-try ako, hindi nila, pinagbigyan lang ako. Si Blade, he came from that station din. Si Blade, The Blade.
Oh, yeah. Narinig natin si The Blade dati.
Tapos,
Daylight,
nag-shift na yan.
Ah.
Lumipat na sa Vera Mall. 90s na yung Vera Mall. Yung 94, una kong punta dyan eh. Nakita ako si Dwayne, no?
Ah.
si Dwayne.
Dwayne
Yung papa
Onaso.
ng Picos.
Yeah.
Oo, si Dwayne. Tapos,
So, siyempre, ina-idolize natin yung mga yan. Yan, sina Sgt. Pepper na mapakinggan natin sa 89.9. Way back.
Pareho
Di ba?
Yes.
The
Mga
same
yan.
principle. Parang DJ training lang talaga yun. Yung ginawa nila parang no intention of making money. Pero ano talaga, parang training lang. Plaka pa gamit
Just
nun eh.
for fun.
Plaka tayo, CD na tayo, di ba? Yung
CD.
plaka pa.
Hindi, digital na kami bro, kayo lang nag-CD.
Oh, hindi namin naabutan yan.
CD
Andy Gold.
Hindi, sa Vera Mall. Ano na yan, yung CD na ginamit. Pero yung time ng Makati Cinema Square, plaka talaga yun. Talagang vinyl yun. Si Martin D, meron talent siya na hindi niya rinalabas eh. Hindi niya nailabas. Kaya niya yung si Grover, boses ni Grover, nagsasagutan sila. Ang galing. May talent na si Martin D.
Speaking of yung mga boses, di ba? Meron ba kayong kayang i-impersonate na boses?
Brian.
Ito si DJ Brian, talagang ganyan ang ginagawa niya. So, nung nakausap kita, hindi tayo nakapag-sample. Sige nga, pwede ka ba magbigay para ma-recall para ma-recall ng mga viewers natin?
Actually, marami naman tayong tinrabaho, no? We did a lot of stuff, you know. Siguro napahilig na lang kasi yung syempre sa larangan natin, we're all using microphones, and part and partial yung pag-discover natin ng new grounds or to expand our skills. And although DJing is a whole new level or a whole new set of skills, you know, and nag-focus na ako sa pag-voice acting as one of my real passion in doing performances. So yeah, people would siguro recognize me as the voice of the LRT from Santolan to Recto Station.
Oh, yeah.
So yan.
Yeah.
Yan yung remember that? Definitely you'll hear the guy saying, "Thank you for patronizing the LRT, wishing you a safe and convenient journey." So that's the
Brian.
Tapos so I did a couple of commercials too in the past which became famous na sumikat. There's this Cornetto commercial with the bouncer. That's also me. Di ba yung nagsabing tug. Sige, sayaw, galing mo. Sige, paganyan. So that's me too. And
Cool.
Ikaw din ba yung nagsabing nung sa LRT, ikaw din ba yung nagsabi na, sandali lang po, stuck tayo? Sandali lang po ha.
Sige po, paano po? Talon po kayo sa trend.
Hindi, wag ganun. O sige, Brian.
Joke lang. Hindi. At saka, well, one of the most recent stints that I did is I am now the official voice of Spotify. So if you listen to Spotify, madidinig mo yung mga commercials dyan. And also Trivago. So, ayun. Basta marami.
Marami palang racket to.
May request ako si Jan. Jan, kayain mo nga si Rick Striker. Kilala mo si Rick Striker?
Sige. Narinig ko si Striker, pero hindi pa kami nag-meet personally.
Nanonood yun ngayon ha.
Ayun. Hello Rick, kung nanonood ka, sige. Sama ka sa aming usapan dito. You're welcome, bro. Okay, sige nga. Gayahin mo, JB. John Derrickson.
Well, you know what they always say, imitation is the best form of flattery.
Oo
So,
naman.
yeah. So, I try to, once in a while, mimic my friends. That's from Oliver Reyes. And, of course, we have Norman Jimenez. Norman used to be with me at the Hive 100.3 20 years ago. He was a newscaster there, and his name was Norman Q. But anyways, moving back to Rick, Edwin in real life. Well, me and Rick, we got reacquainted again in the mid-2000s. And during that time, of course, we were still hosting, bits and pieces of shows here and there. So the more and more I got to know him, the more and more I realized, wait a minute, I can definitely mimic him. So more often than not, when I see him, my first greeting would be exactly like this. Good morning, Rick Striker. How you doing today? Or and sometimes when he does the live thing, he'll actually ask people to sit down. So this is standard. These are standard announcements when you do live shows, or live events, and it usually just sounds like this when you're going to ask everyone to settle down. So this is his version. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May request everyone to please settle down. We shall begin with this morning's program in just a short while. Tawa-tawa ka, Andy Gold.
Together sa DM.
Ay, don't
Don't
forget
Kaya alam ko si Rick eh. Checking in palagi. So you always say that, checking in. Is Rick Striker checking in? So I always make fun of him. But when I watch the video, tawa ko ng tawa. Sabi ko lang eh.
Hindi, invite natin si Rick next time at gagayahin naman niya si John Derrickson tsaka si Andy Gold.
We should really definitely have the guy on board with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably next week or a week from now or 2 weeks from now, something like that.
Yun, bati muna tayo. Binabati natin si Ate Franz. Insan, musta na kayo dyan? Shout out daw. Hello sa inyo at hope you're staying safe. And ating kaibigan si Jeff Toledo. Ayan, what's up, Bernie? And mga kasama natin yan. He's one of the best filmmakers dyan sa my Vancouver area. Nako, I'm excited. And abangan ng mga kaibigan natin yan. At pag-uusapan naman natin ang filmmaking stuff. Kaya it's gonna be exciting, mga kaibigan. And ito nga pala. So, napapanahon pa ba ito I think this is a relevant question na kailangan magkaroon ng parang yung mall radio ulit, halimbawa manumbalik. I mean
Aba. Hindi, well,
Pwede ba ba?
actually
Nawala ka na naman.
hello.
Yan, wala ka, bro.
There.
Yan. Parang ang ganda pa nung mo. Pa nag-froze ka, bro. Parang Oy.
Wala.
Brian, andiyan ka pa ba? Sige, anyone can answer. Sige, Andy Gold, ano masasabi mo doon? Kumbaga, relevant pa ba yan?
Yes, kami si John Boncan and Brian. In-expound namin yan eh. But the time John, wala na yung time natin na nagkasamaan din ng loob. Pero it's still relevant. Actually, the term is called narrowcasting. Based on what the research that I did. Narrowcasting coined by Rick Leiter, one of the pioneers of the internet. Imagine the internet, how many years nilang pinag-aralan pero ngayon na sumisikat. Narrowcasting, kinuha niya sa book na Televista. It's all about what do you call this? cable TV. Doon yung concept. Remember when you watch cable TV cartoons? That's not casting. You're targeting the kids. Okay? So that's the
Nice.
term. Now, so we gotta come up with a new term. Ano yung system? What would be the system to narrowcast? Actually, the term cable, pinagsama na namin ni Brian ng cable tsaka radio. Kasi we're using cable. Ngayon, relevant pa rin kasi internet is cable.
Yun.
Cable pa rin yun to come up with a narrowcasting. So here's the thing, the idea now, wag muna sa mall. Kasi there's a problem sa mall. Ang taas ng echo niyan. There's a problem sa echo. Up to now, mataas pa rin ang echo. Hindi mo maintindihan yung audio. Maganda, bago na yung ceiling speakers nila, it's all called full range na lahat yun sila eh. Kaso, the problem is, it wasn't designed for narrowcasting. So, what you have to focus are the small ones. Think of Jollibee. Ngayon dyan, may naisip na kami, na-share ko na kay Brian, I made a prototype. It's called the cage receiver. So it's like a computer, pare. You just have to connect it to the internet. Then, nakaset na yon. Pag pindot mo ng receiver na, it will go straight to the channel na merong, parang internet radio. But ilalabas mo ngayon yun sa ceiling speaker. Siyempre yung receiver na nakakonect sa audio system ng Jollibee. Now you'll be heard over the ceiling speakers. Imagine all over the world, lahat ng Jollibee, you can be heard.
So, more on may parang certain client ka. Halimbawa, di ba? May certain client ka na i-air mo yung... Okay.
Let's start with Jollibee. That's the concept now. Ganun mo napapalakin. Kasi concept ng Jollibee kasi mababa ang ceiling niya. So maganda, klaro siya.
Nice.
So, pero hindi mo nagagawin sa mall. Later siguro sa mall. Pero meron ako naisip din yung you gotta cover the speaker with something, a cover para hindi mag-echo. Ang problema kasi dyan yung echo eh.
Yeah.
So,
mga endless possibilities, ano? Maraming pwedeng gawin eh. Especially now. And ito, syempre, ang gusto kong itanong naman ngayon, guys, yung napapanahon ngayon, no? Syempre, we've been to events, yan. Nakapag-host na tayo, di ba? Yan ang mga naging trabaho natin. At syempre, dahil nga ng situation ngayon, anong masasabi nyo? Syempre, lahat ng mga kaibigan natin nasa industriya, natigil yan eh. Di ba? Parang tayo yung huling syempre yung mga essential stuff, yung mga ibang mga businesses nag-o-open na. Pero yung events, medyo yan ang huli kasi it needs na yung gathering of people na marami. Para maiwasan, di ba? So, anong masasabi niyo sa ganitong situation? Sige, John Derrickson, go ahead.
Wow. That's a lot of pressure on me all of a sudden.
Yung sa events
Bigla eh.
Di ba? Normal yun.
Any kumbaga, siyempre normal naman siguro na. Siyempre, lahat tayo nabigla dyan eh. Di ba?
Well, this is unprecedented, most especially in this day and age. Definitely, if you look back at the Spanish flu pandemic in the 1918, 1919, and 1920, our industry, though technically did exist, it did not affect it as much as it did today. And there are thousands of people relying on this particular industry. How do I see it? Well, to tell you the truth, it's going to be very difficult. We do have two organizations here in the Philippines that's trying to push for, well, what's the right word for it? For the government to take notice of our industry, of course, to try to help us out during this pandemic. And for everybody else, it's definitely going to be not until we have an effective treatment regimen, not until we have a safe and efficacious vaccine, which is most probably due next year. But most pharma companies are upbeat and optimistic that it will take place as early as September of this year. So, hopefully, yes, we are all counting on it. We're all praying on that. Well, I do understand that the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry or healthcare workers will be prioritized with initial inoculation, initial vaccine. Of course, they are most at risk. But for the rest of the world, that will be sometime next year. And with the number of companies that are pouring their resources into this, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say not only our industry, barbers don't have jobs,
Yeah. Marami
masseuses
talaga
don't have
affected.
jobs. Yes, dentists are afraid to go back to work because, for goodness sake, you can't actually tell your patient, please don't open your mouth, let me check on your teeth.
And they always, di ba? The patients always spit.
Yeah. Parang mahirap ma-pull off yun, ano? Talagang
Yeah.
you need to have a strategy para
Yeah.
Surgery
maayos
from the
mo yung
back.
service mo. Okay, Brian.
So right now, from my point of
I
view,
share the same sentiments.
yeah, this is going to be a community. We're all going to
of
have to
course.
help each other out.
Yes. Kaya nga.
Well, if I may add lang, kasi John is right. Inoculation, vaccine, everything is being studied right now, and it's on its way. And even if it's being rolled out as early as September, do you really trust our government na maka-respond kaagad, or even other countries, not only our government, na pa-vaccine lahat ng tao? It will take time, di ba? So we're not seeing the end of the rope this September. We're looking at, I don't know, siguro a month, a year, or 2 years from now, before, di ba? Before everything like settles down lang a bit, and we can trust each other to shake hands, give a hug, or kiss, or beso man lang. It's difficult. It's hard on all of us, especially the kids. Kasi mga kids, nako, ang usap-usapan ngayon, they're trying to open up the school year this June. Or this August, but di ba? August, no? So
August 24,
why would you trust to bring your kids to school, di ba? The thought of the virus still going in and about, you don't know who's going to be infected, at pagbalik sa bahay may sakit na yung anak mo.
Kaya iba pa rin eh. Safety first pa rin talaga.
So
parents talaga natatakot. Everybody's afraid actually about the situation right now.
Ayun, so, bati muna tayo ha kay
Sure.
Franklin Raymond Javier Jr. Kumusta mga idol? Ayun, salamat sa panonood, Franklin. Meron ba kayong mga greetings dyan?
Me?
Okay, go ahead. Kung sino
Can I-
mauna. Any greetings? Sige, go ahead.
Like,
pero malamang.
from the top of my head, man, I gotta greet my friends, dude.
Okay, go ahead. John.
First and foremost, I gotta greet Rick Striker. Hey, man, how you doing? I love you. I think he
Is he?
I think.
Well, he's going to. Oh.
Yeah, we would love to have you here, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, say hello to Rick, to Oliver, and of course to Norman.
Ryder.
Yeah. Si Bob. And like to greet once again Carlo, Mira, Randy. Belated happy birthday, Randy. Elton. And I'd like to say hello to Marco, and Ding Dong Cruz. And finally, the wonderful, wonderful Justin. Hi, Just.
Yan. Okay, Andy Gold.
Yeah, going back to what was that about akin siguro lesson learned from the situation that we're into now. Siguro yung sabi ni Warren Buffett, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yan, oo nga.
Si Brian magaling dyan eh. Kasi si Brian may business pang iba yan eh. Hindi lang
Wala ko
online.
dalawang basket ni Brian, ha?
Hindi lang offline si Brian.
I have a lot of eggs.
Yan. Brian did. Kasi merong may catering ka pa dati, di ba?
Oh, dati yun. We're looking for, syempre, some stable source of income with the families. So we do the food business too. Nagkaroon kami ng bar dati. Di ba? Nagkaroon kami ng printing shop at computer shop dati. So it's all part of growing up, I guess. But eventually I settled with taking voice acting and voiceovers full time kasi syempre dito ko nakikita yung talagang passion namin mag-asawa. So yeah.
That's good.
Andy's right. There is a thing na you shouldn't put your basket in one egg. Tama ba?
Yeah, sabi mo,
you have a lot on top of one egg.
You have lots of eggs, the left and the right.
So
Hold them apart.
That we have to put into our minds yung online tsaka offline. You should have an
Yan,
online
oh.
and you also have an offline. So offline would be the events. What about your online?
Yan, oo nga
Online,
naman.
si Brian may Spotify. Di ba? Yung online, yung ano mo, yung offline mo, yung events. So may Spotify
Yeah.
ka pa. So you gotta survive. Di ba?
You have to look at different possibilities, di ba? Different
Yes.
avenues para syempre
Hirap.
makover mo lahat. Ayun, so sige. Since pinag-uusapan natin yung present ngayon, mabalik tayo dun sa pag-uumpisa natin as yun nga yung mall radio DJs, kumbaga. Kumbaga kung may parang kung may mall cup, may mall radio DJs. Tayo naman yun, di ba? Diba? Hindi. Kidding aside, yun nga, ano yung mga naaalala nyo nun na talagang hindi nyo makakalimutan, syempre? Nung mga panahon na yun, yung mga events or occurrences na yung nakakatawa or any stuff na may kukwento nyo sa amin, may share nyo. Sige nga.
Si Jan, tsaka kami yung naglaro tayo, yung basketball. Nag-commentator tayo sa basketball sa Shopsville.
Meron ba?
Kami dalawa. Tapos,
I remember that story.
Tapos, alam mo yun, tapos, magaling ka si Jan sa pag-describe. Ang hirap mag-describe niya na, yung nag-layup siya, hindi mo alam kung past tense kasi kali-layup niya lang, tapos na-shoot na yung ball. So, nalilito ako minsan dyan. So, ginawa ko, pinasukan ko ng iba, Jan, tell me something, what is love? Out of the blue.
Bakit biglang ganun?
Wala kasi ako maisip eh.
Nung panahon na yun, anyways, it was called the Shopsville Basketball Association, so it was SBA. And me and Andy, we would act as commentators nga. And more often than not, when we're just watching the game and I'm just basically describing to everybody what's going on, all of a sudden, Andy, out of the blue, not only would ask crazy questions, but he'd go like, for example, I'm commentating, number 3 is driving in straight to the basket, no hoop in there. And then all of a sudden, Andy will simply go like this, bucket. And, you know, it out of the blue, he just asked, bucket. Or, but every time he would arrive, I would introduce him. And I would introduce him with so much gusto. So... as soon as he arrives, I introduce myself to John Derrickson, and I would introduce him, and I'd always introduce him like this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we now begin the one, the only, Andy.
Naghang.
Biglang may muna.
Go!
Ang haba na na. Paano mo na hold yung breath mo na?
Well, I was just crazy then. I was, 18 years old, for goodness sake.
Naalala ko nung ito si Andy Gold, pagka nagbo-board yata to, laging pag may mga dumadaang yung mga nagtitinda, talagang alam ko nagpapakito eh.
Si Andy pa.
Extra, no?
Kasi kami, nagkasama rin kami ni Andy niyan, after Shopsville, sabi for a time. Diba? So alam mo yun, yung magpapatugtog yan ng kanta, ng mahabang kanta, tapos mawawala yan sa booth.
Saan kaya nagpupunta?
Makikita mo yan. Nasaan yung DJ dito? Doon. Nakikipagkantuhan doon sa sa
Ano yun?
tindera.
May automation na ba nung time na yun?
Wala, pipili lang niya ng mga...
May non-stop tayo.
Pipili lang niya ng mga kanta. Alam mo yung mga 7 minutes worth na kanta tulad nung kanta ng The Beatles.
Hindi, Brian, meron tayong CD nung araw na parang more than 1 hour.
Yeah, the non-stop thing. Yes.
Non-stop,
play
diba?
that. Yes.
Sino
Tapos
nag-record
kakain ka
nun?
sa labas, magla-lunch ka. Kasi uso nun yung yung mga mix-mix, 'di ba? Uso nun yung mga mix-mix na CD, 'di ba? Playing it non-stop. Ang problema doon dahil CD pag sumabit o tumalon. Yun na.
Oo nga. May time na gano'n, di ba? Hihipan mo pa yun eh.
Minsan babalik ka,
mo.
hinahanap ka. Nasaan na po yung DJ? Alam ko nawawala yung DJ kasi yung tunog ng tunog. Tong, 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 tong. Ganun.
Alam mo kung bakit? Tumatalon.
Tumatalon tapos hindi napapatay ng DJ. nasa po yun, ay, nagtanghalian lang po, kumain na po sa labas. Ayun, may isang oras na tumatalo yung CD, tong.
True story.
Alright, yun naman po yung ginagawa
Ilang
nila.
taon ba yung mga tinagal nyo nun? Kasi ako hindi ko na
Sa
maalala
Bira
siguro.
Mall, 1 year tayo sa Bira Mall.
Medyo tumagal. Medyo tumagal ng konti sa Vira Mall kasi bago nasunog yung Vira Mall, Bago nasunog yung Vira Mall, we were there. Dati yung DJ's booth nandun lang sa baba. Pinagawa
Kapag
ni
National Bookstore.
Tama. Doon lang yung sa baba. Tapos pinanik nila sa taas. Ginawa nila ng sariling DJ's booth doon sa taas na enclosed. Mukha na tayong aquarium doon sa taas noon.
Yeah.
Diba? It's all glass panel.
Pasok ko sa Bira Mall.
Ang naaalala ko sa Shopsville lang yata ako eh. I don't think nag-Vira Mall ako. Oo.
Shopsville. I think it was towards the end of 2001
Okay.
nag-Vira Mall na. Nag-Vira Mall na kasi parang wala na kasi nagma-manage noon sa Shopsville eh. So kaya hinahanapan nila ng kung sino maganon. And then they potentially it was a money making business before para dun sa mall, diba? Kasi people were paying for the spot to have it to broadcast. Kunyari, come now. Take one of this like that, diba? 20 pesos, tama. 20-20 lang nun eh. Naalala ko, hindi mabigat sa bulsa. Pero yung 20-20 na yon, dahil na-accumulate, dumadami rin naman yung
Yan.
Si John, always happy in the afternoon. Pagbalik niya, at nakangiti na yan, nakapagmerienda.
So, tanongin ko kayo ha.
Pag kita pa rin sumanlatik, nakapagmerienda na yan, hindi man lang nagtigil ng suman yan sa amin.
Ang sarap ng sumanlatik niya, Tita Parings, no? Hindi.
That didn't sound right, dude.
Yeah, that was the best. Alam mo, ito tanongin ko sa inyo, Siyempre, yung mga career nyo, maganda yung mga naging career nyo na ngayon, Do you think talagang nakatulong yun na na-mold kayo? In terms of, siyempre, we were young back then. Pero, that time, siyempre, hindi pa yung gamit, di ba? Medyo, kumbaga parang in terms of radio quality, siyempre, yung parang consumer lang din, di ba? Na pwede mong gamitin din sa bahay kung ano yung magagamit mo dun sa radio booth. So, what I'm asking is, nakatulong ba lahat ng experiences ninyo? Kahit na, yung parang naglalaro lang tayo nung time na yon, di ba? Sige.
Sino?
Ikaw, anyone.
For me, it definitely showed me the ropes on how to set things right. Yeah. I remember we had a program director back at Shopsville, and his name is John Galang, si Badjo. And he showed us for the very first time the pie chart, the clock. So at the top of the hour, all the way until the 15th minute or the 20th minute, you should be playing the top 40. And then towards the end of the hour, it should be OPMs, like at least 2 OPMs in a row. And at the 30th minute, all the way to the 45th, and it would be like that. We had station manager. Francis Toledo, Francis Day, that was his air name.
Francis Day.
And if you remember, of course, the late great Private Benjamin, si Benji Tabake, and he was technically our go-to old wise man, because at the time he was already in his early 50s, and. Yeah, they did show us the ropes, and then that same tradition would be carried on to Radio Viramal. Brian, with the timeline, that was, I do believe Radio Viramal came online in late 97. And then
parang towards 90s.
Yeah, that 97, late 97, and then it went offline mid 1999. So that's how long Radio Viramal ran. Radio Shopsville, I do understand it lasted longer, right? When was Radio Shopsville founded?
I think 94 or 93.
93.
I think it was 93.
Kasi 93.
Kayo na? Mga 18 na kayo nun, no? Mga, 14 lang yan ako nun,
I think I was 12 during that time.
Mas bata ka pala?
I was the youngest of all the group.
Ganun ba? Gusto bang magka-bulgara ng edad?
Just to
I
piggyback.
don't mind.
just to piggyback on what John was saying, during that time we had extremely limited equipment, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could not do our own stingers, diba? We could not record properly. We were finding ways to make our program rich because you needed shotguns, you needed station IDs, you needed all those stuff, and there was no way for us to record it properly. So naalala ko nun, it was clear to me na kami ni Bernie noon, pag stinger niya, 'di ba, magi-introduce o kaya mag-stinger, sisingit ako bigla na parang station ID or parang stinger pagkatapos magsasalita siya. 'Di ba? There were times like that.
Hindi
But-
recorded parang live ang
Tama,
dating.
tama.
Oh,
There was this crazy moment. We had two CDJs. The CDJ
yeah.
S45. I remember the model and
Oh
make.
yeah.
Naalala mo pa
Diba?
talaga, ha?
And they both cost one unit cost 6,000 pesos way back in
Oh,
1996.
6,000.
It was extremely
Mahal.
expensive.
Yeah.
Diba?
If you adjust that for inflation
Yeah.
today. So there was a time when all of a sudden one of the CDJs gave way. And okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let me also mention the other DJs from Radio Shopsville at the time. We had Jerome Santos. God bless him. Rest in peace. He passed away at the age of 32. Si Rome Diosco, that was his air name. We had Alvin de Guzman. He was a dancer, and he's an extremely good cook. And he owns his own restaurant now, Cardiac Delights. I'm plugging him in. And then Joseph Dizon. Joseph Dizon, a car enthusiast. He's a husband and father, and he's a great all-around guy. We're still in contact to this day. But anyways, and then we had Rusty Salas. But anyways, here, the CDJ gave way. You had one CD player running.
Yeah.
And now you had to choose another song when the first song was done. So you're now on track 3. You have to jump all the way to track 12. And as you're jumping, you suddenly turn on the microphone. By the way, the microphone was only meant for announcements inside the mall. Like, for example, paging, calling the attention. Yeah, diba? So, calling the attention of Mrs. Jean Consolacion. Jean Consolacion, please proceed to customer service. So it was just like that. So anyway, we jumped to track, and then you had to say as much as you could before you hit the next track.
Ang hirap
True.
Yeah. You had to stretch up to 30 seconds sometimes, and it was just crazy. So, diba? It was fun. It was
and
definitely
people are
fun.
coming and going, yung dropping by para magkaroon ng public announcement.
Tama.
Instead
that was
of,
the
uy,
crazy
batiin mo
part,
naman si
actually.
paki-announce nito, paki-announce. Alam mo, naalala ko tayo lang sila Sir Shani lang, and kami ni John. Hindi ko na naaalala pa yung mga nakasama nyo before. Kasi nga, late na rin ako dumating doon sa Shopsville. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
Ang naalala ko noon, yung habang nag-a-announce tayo, di ba, engganyo ka na. You're introducing the song, the artist, you're giving some feedback, some information. Suddenly, the staff from the admin comes in, pa-page daw nitong plate number na daw.
Yeah.
Diba?
I remember.
Sisingit, di ba?
Yeah.
That wasn't the bad part. The bad part nung nasa Vira Mall kami. Yung sa Vira Mall, mas malupit Meron din
Yan.
gusto So habang nagsasalita ako, nagpapatugtog ka, biglang i-interrupt yung sasalita mo. Tapos,
they would overlap.
They would overlap and they would say the darndest things. Like, we'd like to greet Kuya ganito ganyan, happy birthday, Kuya. Habang nagpo-programa ka, di ba? Kung yun lang ang sasabihin, sana ibinigay na lang sa'yo. So,
pero ang
sumisingit.
tayo ng lalakarin.
Kinamita na intercom, di ba? Later.
Sabi ni Tito Potato, uy, mga kuya ko pala yan.
Show!
Ayan, hello kay Tito Potato. Ayan mga kaibigan. Oy, kung meron kayong mga tanong sa ating mga favorite DJs, ayan, sabihin nyo lang, i-comment lang sa ating
Alam mo, isa lang tao na favorite natin eh.
Sabihin lang, paano ka ba naging favorite DJ to eh? Hindi ko makakilala mga to. Hindi. Okay, Andy Gold naman. Ano yung isang experience na hindi mo makakalimutan sa Shopsville at Vera Mall?
Ako
Ano mo
maraming
may share mo dyan
experience
sa atin?
Kalimutan ko. Babae lang naalala ko eh.
Oh, yan na. Yan na.
Yung after board work or during board work? Which one?
Ano ko yan? Okay lang.
Wala na may share. O yan, sige. Oy, ano muna? Bati-bati muna sa mga friends natin. Brian, go ahead. Yung mga greetings mo. Go ahead.
Babatiin ko muna ang Ligsay family syempre, okay? At lahat na nakikinig sa atin ngayon dito sa Rodriguez Rizal. Mga kaibigan ko at family ng Rotary Club of Rodriguez. Again, yan yung mga kasama natin. Hindi ko na isa-isahin, marami tayo masyado. At syempre, yung mga staff natin sa Mothership Recording Studios, Yahoo! Okay, balik na ang business ng recording dahil na MECQ na. So lahat ng mga talents natin and staff ay dahan-dahan at ingat na bumalik na para mag-recording. At syempre sa lahat ng mga friendly friends natin na nakikinig, my wife Lenny is here, of course. Yung aming kasamahan sa bahay, si Lou, si Kate, yung aking pamangkin at mga Junakis ko na nandito at si Tatay. Si Mami na nasa Bulacan, kapatid ko si Dennis na sa Singapore, si Christine sa Antipolo, and Shasha is also.
Yan, nakikinig sila. And Andy Gold, meron akong mga greetings dyan.
Bulacan.
Yung aso ko, namiss ko rin aso ko, si Dupi.
Nandiyan ba kasama mo?
Wala, na-lockdown ako dito sa Sampaloc eh, nasa Muntinlupa. Yung aso ko, mapunta.
Naka-chika siya ngayon sa Facebook, bro.
Sana ma-reunite na yung aso mo at ikaw.
Masarap kasama.
Ayun, so, ito, siyempre doon sa mga, aspiring, ito, mga nagsisimula, sa radio. Would you recommend na mag-try muna sila sa mall radio? Halimbawa, merong mall radio ngayon, o bago sila sumabak talaga sa FM kung halimbawa wala pang chance. Ano masasabi niyo diyan? Ano mga mabibigyan yung tips sa mga kaibigan natin ngayon? Siyempre, may mga nakikinig sa atin, mga nanonood, I'm sure na gusto pa rin gumaya dun sa ginagawa ninyo in particular. Yan, go ahead, guys.
Right now, they should just have fun with it. Yeah.
Yan.
I mean, well, let's face it. This is a different era, and it's a brand new world now. So definitely, you can do podcasts. Definitely, you can just read the newspaper and just have fun with it, or read your favorite story and just have fun with it. If you want to do so many voices, go right ahead. Do all the voices you want, even if it doesn't sound the way you want it to sound, like exactly like the character you're trying to mimic. You can do it in the convenience of your own bathroom.
Yeah, anywhere, man.
Yeah, anywhere.
Basta practice ka, right?
Yeah. So for all aspiring DJs out there, for radio, for all aspiring voiceover talents, just wing it at home. Don't take it too seriously, and don't ever be afraid of telling yourself, "No, I don't have the nice voice for this." There's no such thing. I mean, you can have the normalest voice in the whole world, but if you just know how to tell a story, trust me, that will definitely work for you. I love that particular line.
Yes.
Dad, can you please put a little bit more feeling into the story? I can't tell Little Red Riding Hood from the wolf. So if you can just put more power into it, more passion into it, more character into it, then you're definitely on your way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jan Derrickson. Kasi nga, sinasabi natin, in terms of creative stuff, right? It's always the story. The story is always king. Kahit paano merong fancy equipment ka, kahit paano basta, pag walang story, yung gusto mong ibigay sa audience mo, syempre, mahirap yan. And syempre, sabi mo rin
Mm-hmm.
get yourself out there. Like ito, gamitin mo yung social media. Pwede kang mag-record, right? pwede kang mag-vlog in a way. So, ayan. Ano pa yung may dadagdag nyo, Andy Gold and Bri?
Okay, ako muna. Kasi honestly right now, this
Ayan, nag-froze ulit siya.
Parang
Tumigil na naman
nangyari.
yung ano niya. Okay, ikaw muna.
ayan.
Ayan. Okay, go.
There.
Brian.
Yeah.
Dinig na ako.
Windows 12 na kasi.
Yeah.
Windows
Yeah,
12
we
yung
can hear you
ginagamit
loud
ni
and clear.
Brian.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Like I was mentioning, at this day and age of information, you guys have everything to, the potential. Every resource that you can find online to help you in your quest to become a DJ or a performer or an announcer or a voiceover. But more than anything, alam mo, dapat you should seek professional help. Tap with the real guys na talagang nandun na sa industry at nasa business na. And not just people in the industry. Find people who are credible to be with in the industry. Ask around, do your assignment, just research people who have had the experience of working with real producers, directors, and those guys who are doing this for real. No?
Yeah.
Kasi ang hirap kasi yung parang sarili mo lang din naman ang kumbaga ikaw lang mag-isa nagre-research. Kailangan mo ng guiding principle. Syempre tayo ng mga tumagal na sa industriya, alam na natin yung ins and outs of how you manage your voice, how to syempre promote yourself,
Yeah.
lalo na sa panahon ngayon, di ba?
So,
And how to even just go out there. How
so
to even
Bri,
promote your
to make the long story short, you're saying na contact me, Brian
Yes,
Magsay.
we should definitely contact Brian.
yes.
Magsay.
Facebook.com/to the mothership.
Ayan, pwede niyo pa kontakin yan si Brian. Nagko-coach siya sa mga
Dapat
aspiring,
meron siyang, click on the link above me.
Yeah.
Dapat, may ganun.
Hindi, mamaya mag-plug ka, pwede. Yeah.
Add us up on Facebook.
Oo, dapat mag-raise ka ng banner, brother.
Yeah, oo nga.
Makita nila. We should.
Yeah.
Oo. So that
Hindi,
definitely.
I guess, pero alam mo, kidding aside, I guess it's
Yeah.
only true, no? That the thing that we're doing right now is fun and rewarding,
Yes.
right? But we also need to, of course, develop our skills. It's a learning process every day now.
Yes.
Move
Oo
towards
naman.
better paying fields in the voiceover world or in the production world. Marami tayo kasi pwedeng apply yan eh. Hindi lang naman na
Yeah.
pagdi-DJ or hindi lang naman pagvo-voiceover. So there's that we need to, of course, look into also. Kaya mag-aral muna mabuti.
Oo.
And just
Tama
like
yan, magandang
I'll take
advice
it just like what Don LaFontaine said, no? Yung namatay na voiceover.
Oh, malupit yun.
You wanna
Movie trailer, VO.
Yeah, the movie
Oo.
trailer voice guy. You wanna be a
Yeah.
voiceover
He's the best.
over
Oo.
my dead body. Diba?
Ayan, magaling, ano? And,
So, yeah, aral-aral lang.
ayos yan. Bri, ikaw naman na Andy Gold, meron ka ba mga tips dyan? Pati tricks?
Actually, like what John Derrickson said a while ago, yung era before is different now. I mean, actually, the FM range has changed. It's no longer like what we've been practicing long time ago. So before we have to be good in English, right? But now you don't need that.
Oh.
So that's another thing in the Philippines, but of course in the States it's a different thing. Of course, but even the style of broadcasting has changed in the FM side, where we really focused on before. You still have to practice your English skills. That is very important because you can never tell. Like me now, I learned that YouTube is looking for voiceover for YouTube, and they're getting people from the Philippines. Just imagine that. What if you haven't practiced your English skills?
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's true.
So good thing. The shops bill, the Vera Mall, all of those things, the English skills that we did always just a short ad lib. But the thing is, that's how you practice your communication skills. But nowadays, people will just, if you want to be a DJ now in the Philippines, you're gonna listen to the Tagalog sound. It's no longer the FM, the American soundings. It's a different thing now.
Yeah.
Before we really have to have good, aside from the voice, you also have to be good in communication.
Yeah.
Right? So that's very challenging.
Yeah.
Now, baka makalimutan nila yun, they have to practice their English skills.
Yeah.
It's very important. Don't forget that if you like radio, because you can never tell what if you lost your job sa radio. Where will you go? You can only speak Tagalog. What about the English opportunities in the US, in Canada? They're getting people now in the Philippines because of our communication skills.
Yeah.
So it really help you a lot.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point, yung English nga. Pero syempre, maganda rin yung unahin na yung confidence ba? And get yourself out there. And sabi mo yung English, pero syempre, wag tayong mai-intimidate na simulan. Kumbaga humakbang dahil syempre sabi natin na, uy, hindi ako marunong mag-English. O, hindi ko kaya. Wag nating isipin na yun ang magiging, di ba? Parang way of thinking natin na dahil lang sa certain mahihinaan tayo ng loob. Pero syempre yung sinabi mo maganda yan kasi yun yung next step, di ba? Try to challenge yourself, improve yourself, di ba?
Isa lang, one thing. Let's say you're targeting one station. Favorite mo yung mga DJs. You record those DJs, yung favorite mo.
Yan.
Imitate. You start with imitate.
Oo nga, oo.
If it's a Tagalog style, that's what you want, go ahead. Then my point is, don't forget to practice your English skills. Don't just focus on Tagalog skills. Because later on, you might be left behind.
Kumbaga parang meron ka pang isang, kumbaga pag may bala ka pa, di ba? Meron kang nakareserba. That's good, that's good.
Meron ka reserva. Kasi yun ang pinaka-major natin, yung English skills na yun. It will help you a lot. Kasi, remember, lahat na sa internet na, nobody's, I don't know, can you justify people who are listening to radio now sa Philippines? I don't know in Canada, but in the Philippines, wala na, hindi mo na ma-justify eh. Unlike YouTube, unlike Facebook, you can see the likes, the number of likes.
So kumbaga, you're saying na may interaction.
May interaction. Pero sa radio, you cannot justify who are listening, right? That's the sad part.
Meron pa rin siguro kasi passive eh. Minsan pag may ginagawa tayo na maganda yung merong background music or may nagsasalita na parang you don't really have to focus. Minsan kasi siyempre pagka YouTube visual yan eh. You have to sometimes, you have to really focus on some stuff. Yeah. Pero I get what you're saying. Yeah.
25 radio stations are competing, and they're not only competing with other radio stations, but they're competing with the internet. That's the problem. The alternatives, there's so many alternatives nowadays.
So ayan, Brian and John Derrickson, ano may dadagdag yun dun sa sinabi nga ni Andy Gold in terms of radio versus internet, especially now that we have Facebook, YouTube?
Well, for me, back in
radio
North
stations
America,
are competing with themselves.
Yeah. North America, if you look back, they have satellite radio that requires a subscription.
So is that possible here?
Yeah.
But
Sirius XM, mga ganyan.
So I would like to beg to differ that there is really that much tough competition. I still have a lot of friends who still listen to FM radio. Well, of course, a lot of older people who are listening to AM radio for all the obvious reasons. Yeah. So if you're really gonna say that radio could possibly be a dying medium, I think we're still far from that. It's not like print media, wherein you will have to compete with digital. When you look at radio and when you look at the internet, I mean FM radio stations in our country and across the world, they're broadcasting on the net. You can actually see your favorite DJs now.
Yes.
If you go back 15 years ago, you actually have to watch cable television to see that happen. So the accessibility now with your mobile device, that's going to be much easier. So I like that line, change or die. So you got to expand your horizons. You
or
can't
adapt,
stick,
right?
Yeah, or adapt. You can't stick to one gun.
Yes.
This is the only thing I have. This is the only thing I've got in my boot. Try to find the largest rock you can possibly find, or even the sand on your feet will blind the enemy. The long and short of it is that we can still, or the industry can still, basically, yes, right, adapt, change, and definitely give the wider audience, a different medium.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, they're doing it right now, right? Yung katulad nung, syempre, but you can't really play music, right? While you're DJing kasi nga
Yes, that's the
yung
problem.
Yeah,
copyright.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they find ways na kung paano ba malampasan yung hurdle na yun
Hurdle.
na they just you do talks. Yung mga talking na I mean, balitaktakan type yung katulad yung sa yung mga teleradyo na yan, di ba? Which is really nice kasi
Sure.
pag siyempre sa radio is you need a transmitter, right? You need the physical radio to listen. Or ngayon, ginagawa nila, binabato na nila sa online din, which is nice na yung mga nakakamiss, yung mga dati mga fans ng radio, bumabalik dahil nga sa there's always a way na para pakinggan. Yan. Uy, maganda yung sinabi mo, John Derrickson. Bati muna tayo kay Leopold Valenton. Hello. Magandang umaga dyan sa Philippines. Pati na rin kay Benjamin John Salarzon Jr. Greetings daw and to the Rotary Club of Rodriguez, Philippines. Ayan, mga kaibigan siguro
AG
yun ni
namin
Brian
yan.
Linsay. Ayos,
Ano yan?
ayos.
Dati namin assistant governor dito sa Rotary Club of Rodriguez. Presidente
Nice.
namin yan si Pres Leone, nakikinig din. Mga favorite DJs of the past.
Salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay. Talagang we appreciate
Nakikinig sa
all your love para sa aming show na ito. And ayan, DJ Brian, ano pa mga maidadagdag mo naman dyan sa mga magandang points yan, mga sinabi ni Andy Gold at Jan Derrickson?
I think what we're arriving at is that as a performer, you need to have a wider or bigger skill set to enjoy the benefits of today's medium, the internet. And alam mo, hindi ka lang naman dapat mag-iit ba? Ngayon, performer na ang bagsak mo na on live. Dati kasi, yung mga DJs hindi naman nakikita sa radio station. Syempre, pumapasok yung iba sa atin na nakasandot, nakashort lang, okay lang yun. Pero ngayon, when you go to the medium na YouTube or kailangan may presentation ka, maganda yung yung setup mo,
Visual
magandang
kasi.
equipment mo, di ba? May kasama ng visual aspect, so you have to also research on what equipment you're supposed to use for your publication, kung ano man yung kailangan mong gawin, your broadcast rather. So everything is really down to information. You'll have to do your real homework on that. But still, it doesn't hurt to learn the basics pa rin. Parang ano yan parang sa pagdodrawing yan, di ba? Kahit na gusto mong tumalong kagad sa 3D, yung basics ng 2D. Hindi ka pwedeng tumalon sa sa 3D kagad ng yun lang. Kailangan alam mo pa rin mag-drawing sa papel at magpalit-palit ng papel, di ba? Sa paggawa ng mga pictures. And a lot of the folks before, I remember during our time, really wanted to become DJs. Yun ang parang aspiration nila. Hindi nare-recognize yung mga dating other fields rather in the industry. And because being a DJ during our time is such a popular concept, di ba? Yung mga kasama natin sa industriya, pag nagpapakilala, nilalaki ng boss, ako nga pala si DJ, ganito ganyan, from right on, di ba? Ganun ang mga introduction. Would you like to hear your favorite song? I'll play it for you. Just listen to me later. Diba? Ganun na style, no? Pero ngayon pala, diba? Ngayon,
motivated talaga.
Ngayon hindi na nagiging
Iba na
popular pa na. Unless the DJ is doing TikTok or di ba? Or doing something on Facebook at may itsura, teka, hindi yata kakagatin ng tao. So there's a personality, concept na kailangan na rin alagaan while you're on air.
Tsaka nga, to add to what you said, pagka, syempre, nasa tayo ng social media, yung mga YouTube nga, Facebook, parang you get to be more creative in terms of, kasi nai-involve na yung, yung visual, di ba? In terms of sa radio, syempre, nagpe-prepare ka ng ad-lib mo later on. Pero this time, how am I gonna present myself to my audience? Di ba?
Meron ganun.
Okay ba yung background ko? Okay ba yung topic ko? It's actually fun and rewarding pag na-pull off mo yun. Kasi nga, parang sabi mo nga kanina, don't be afraid of change. Parang you have to adapt. Di ba, Jan Derrickson, yung sinabi mo kanina, na maganda rin yung nagiging effect noon sa atin as a whole, as a person. Dahil you get to be flexible, una-una, right? you get to adapt to changes nga, which is really nice yung mga sinabi nyo nga. Sige. Any more beauty? Okay, go ahead. Sige, Bri.
Kasi nga before when we were training under Radio Shopsville and Radio Viramol, we were scouring for ways to make our program great, di ba? Because we had limited equipment eh. You had yung CDJ na palpak and the tape deck na natanggal ang takip, 'di ba? Naalala niyo yung guys, 'di ba? Alam mo na
wala na yung yung takip yung gano'n, yung
diba?
rectangle ba 'yan?
'Di ba? Salpakan na lang at taguan ng tape 'yun kasi napapatungan yung tape. So kailangan yung ibabaw nun puputulin mo, 'di ba?
Ang galing naman ng mga memory ninyo. Naalala niyo pa 'yun?
Close skill, no?
Diba? Oo. So, pagalingan nun kung paano mag-rewind. Dahil minsan, nasosobrahan, diba? At tansyahan yun to the blues. And we were, the pencil, we were blessed that we had to go through that system. Tayo, naghanap tayo ng paraan to make our program work. Diba? The pencil, yes, and everything. The mga people nowadays would really think about and how primitive the technology then. Pero, dahil primitive, we wanted to make it sound presentable, right? As much as we can and make it sound really like a radio station, diba? And we siguro we had that parang chance to or training that to go through that. Nowadays, mas given na yung mas spoon-fed na yung information, mas spoon-fed na yung equipment. Mura na nga yung bumili. Wala na nga yatang bumibili ng CD track ngayon. May bumibili pa ba ng wala na, di ba? Nobody. Lahat na digital na, right?
Oo. Mas madali in terms of
mas madali na ngayon. Wala efforts. Programa, Google and like information, everything is readily and available. Pero you still need to learn how to, like the basic of ethics of broadcasting. You still need to learn all those stuff.
Sabi nga no excuse, di ba? No excuses na para magawa mo yung gusto mo talaga. Anything to add, Andy Gold? Meron ka pa dyan? Ano masasabi dyan? Mukhang tulog ka na.
Wala na raw.
Okay. Sige.
Pag mo engganyo yung pagsalita yan, magsasalita ng 5 oras yan, yari ka.
Sige. Siyempre, ang oras natin, marami pa sana tayong balitaktakan. Sige, ano ba mga maipa-plug nyo dyan? Invite nyo yung mga kaibigan natin to check out yung mga ginagawa. Sige. Unahin na nga si Andy Gold. Go ahead.
Wala akong ginagawa.
Tambay?
Hindi ko magawa.
Napakamot eh.
Oh my God. That's the reality ng COVID, no? Wala
Next
tayong
time ko
ginagawa.
promote. Tsaka ko na promote yung channel pag...
Sige. Hindi. Welcome kang bumalik dito. Sige. Pagka meron na. Sige. John Derrickson.
Wow. Nothing for the near future, but I would like to invite everybody who's watching or who can actually hear my voice to come and buy my Frozen Delights, which will be launched in 2 weeks. As currently my freelance work as a voiceover talent, it has completely dried up. So I'm getting a chest freezer and a bunch of frozen stuff. So
ano yan? Anong flavor? Anong flavor ng mga yan mo?
Oh, this is not ice cream. I am going to be dealing with meat.
Ibang klase.
Ibang klase.
It sounds
You're
like
a
ice cream
now.
Ang galing Di ba when you describe it earlier?
Are you talking about meat?
Sabi ko ba, okay na. Akala ko may mga flavors pero meat pala. Ayan, magandang ano yan.
Frozen meat.
Frozen Delights. Right.
Frozen Delights.
Definitely Frozen Delights.
Yan, abangan yan ng mga kaibigan natin.
Supplier,
Maganda yan. Ito si
just retailer,
marami to si Direct Brian Ligsay. DJ Brian.
Well, right now, of course, we're still on the lookout for voice actors or performers na merong capacity to record from home. So if you have the proper equipment and of course meron kayong some form of soundproofing at home, I don't really care kahit nakumot lang yung is acceptable. we're on the lookout for those. And we have friends in the business who have actually invested on equipment. We have their voices, but we're still open to that. So if you are interested in doing voiceovers, you can always email us at info@mothershipstudios.com.ph. On top of that, we have upcoming voiceovers and trainings online. Especially now that the COVID-19 is, all in about, we have to find ways how to market ourselves and how to be on top of things. So for more details on that, just join us over facebook.com/to the mothership. Yan.
Yeah,
O hanapin nyo,
that's
i-search nyo
nice.
Mothership Recording Studios.
So-
at nandyan tayo. You can access it there.
Pwede kami mag-apply dyan. Di na Andy Gold, John Derrickson.
Oo naman. As long as you guys can your nearest studio or your ito si Jan nasa Cubao lang yan Sandali, isang talon lang yan doon sa lugar namin. Pwede naman pumunta yan doon.
Ibabaw.
Di ba? Lapit-lapit lang yan. Si Andy Gold medyo malayo yan. Naka-lockdown pa. So diyan ka na lang, Andy. Hanap ka muna ng equipment
Nasa
na
Sampaloc
pwede.
siya ngayon
Yeah.
Oo.
Uy,
So
ito
ayun, alam mo yun.
So, syempre, bago tayo magpaalam, gusto kong marinig yung sample. No? Yan, ito. Sige, syempre, nag-start tayo sa Shopsville, no? Kaya sa Vera mo. Sige, umpisa natin kay John Derrickson. Paano ba yung mga adlib mo nun?
Adlib ng Shopsville. Here we go!
Ako, alam nyo, honestly, hindi na ako mag-adlib kasi wala akong matandaan.
Oh my goodness.
Nakalimutan ko na talaga. Buti nga eh. Anything na sample or whatsoever.
Well, apparently, I still have the old stingers and the old station ID from that era. So I still have the tapes, but I haven't digitized them yet.
And you've been telling us that for a long time, bro.
Yeah, the longest time. I can't
Papahiram
find
ko
the
sa iyo.
Yeah,
Papahiram
oo
ko sa iyo.
nga. Ang kailangan nyo na
Talaga,
i-digitize na yan.
Digitize
Para
na.
siyempre, gusto natin i-share yan, di ba? Pwede natin ilagay sa link ng ating program yan. O, sige, go ahead.
But apparently, 24 years ago, I sounded very, very different from what I sound now today. So 24 years ago, it sounded like this. This is DWRS Radio Shopsville. Music to make your shopping a thrill. And you're listening to the John Derrickson Show. The one and only talk show with no one to talk to. So it sounded, it's so pilit. It's so pilit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then a year later, I finally found my voice, and thank goodness
Hindi,
it sounds normal now.
May ganyan talaga parang stiff ka, di ba, dati? Kasi
Oh
parang gusto mo...
goodness, that was terrible.
And you were terrified, you were nervous, pero siyempre,
I
di
was
ba?
always nervous, yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, thank goodness.
you sound great, man. Ganun pa rin naman yung boss mo na talagang malalim and,
Well, people say that I sounded when people ask me to do a sample of that, and I do it, and they always go like, you know what? You sound like Optimus Prime with a really bad sore throat. A really bad sore throat, John. You should stop that. And
Optimus
thank
ba?
goodness.
Oo nga,
Well,
ang galing.
a few years later, when I joined the Hive, it sounded normal. So now my air name at the time was John the Beetle 20 years ago, and though I'd come on the air, once in a while, it sounded much better. It was like, this is the Hive 100.3, the country's first and only radio cafe, and you're with John the Beetle. So that sounded better. That sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, I like that.
Parang Derrickson pa rin, hindi.
Itong si Andy Gold, tawa ng tawa to. Sige nga, parinig mo nga sa amin, Andy Gold. Yung mga kahit,
DM95.5.
kung wala kang yung DM95, Pinoy Radio, DM955. Sige nga.
DM95.5.
Up next is gonna be a big striker checking in. No, remember that part. All right, so we time to say bye-bye for now. This is your friend Andy Gold saying hasta la vista, baby.
Yes.
Pero that comes with a song, all right? After the
Yeah,
song,
galing, Feel na. Ito naman si Ito, DJ Bry, ay yung marerecall ng mga bata halimbawa na nanonood ng cartoons before, yung animation. Ano ba yung famous na nagawa mo na cartoons na VO mo?
Well, I did a couple of voiceovers for Hero TV before. I remember that. So may mga ginawa akong mga monsters to. Alam mo kasi ang boses ko pang kontrabide.
Sige
so
nga,
bagay sa akin yung mga
kontrabida
monsters.
sample. Sige.
Kontrabida.
Sige.
One of siguro isa sa mga favorite na kontrabida na ginaya ko si Mike Otori ng I don't know if people know this from this anime na ang masyadong magusto yung boses niya, ang malalim and everything, and he would go like gusto mo ba ibili kita ng sing-sing na babagay dyan sa suot mong damit? And I would always talk like this whenever I'm with you. So, alam mo, ganun siya magsalita. But a lot of voiceovers for me would involve mimicking famous actors too, including Morgan Freeman. I would do a Morgan Freeman impression.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Sige, go ahead.
And sometimes I'd lower my voice like this and speak up Morgan Freeman's voice. The good thing and including mga Filipino icon voiceovers here like Ray Langit yan.
Yeah.
Alam mo, mga kasama, ito mo si Andy Gold niya. Ay, nandiyan sa may sambalo kahit nakaka-lockdown daw niya. So, pero alam mo, ang first love ko talaga is doing DJ work. Honestly, if I would be given a chance, if you would erase everything and go back to the simplicity of things, I'd never trade my love for broadcasting kasi yan talaga love natin. What I don't like about broadcasting is the politics and everything, right? Pero inside the level of performance or considering everything and the talent, yung the joy of giving pleasure of informing your listeners, interacting with your audience or your radio listeners and everyone out there. It's just something special, no? It touches siguro your kaibuturan ng ilalim ng iyong puso and everything. So I remember nung DJ tayo sa Shopsville, my regular stint when I was in Shopsville was right. We'll be right back.
Yan, we'll be right back and then it froze.
More. You're not getting around. I'd love to stick around, but we'll be right back with more after this.
Yeah. Yun lang yung mga adlib natin dati.
Oo, yung mga adlib na natin dati. And then nung nag-rate, I kind of coined this phrase na lagi kong ginagamit at the end of my show. After each program, I would always say, mga kaibigan, always remember, pagkahaba-haba man ng prosesyon, pag natinik, ay malalim. And then all the extras. So that's
walang connection, ano?
Walang connection yun. Wala talaga. Wala talaga. So, yun. Alam mo.
Oh, good. Thank you for sharing that one, man. I really appreciate that. And any last words, John Derrickson and Dandy Gold, pati na rin Brian, doon sa mga viewers natin. Siyempre, this is our virtual reunion, ano? Kasi because of the situation nga, yan, nagkita-kita ulit tayo kahit nga ito, through Skype lang. And I really wanna thank you guys for taking time for being here. So I'm so happy.
This is the very first time we've actually been all together in of course the virtual world, or even in real life. We've never been.
We haven't talked to each other. Come on, really, guys.
Yeah.
We should have coffee tomorrow, no?
Hindi, pagka makakabisita ulit tayo sa Pinas, next time for sure. We're gonna meet up and maraming kwentuhan yung pinagkwentuhan natin ngayon. May continuation yan, siyempre, di ba?
Oh yeah. I pray it won't be another 24 years before we talk again.
Hindi naman. Sana nga, when this is all over, di ba? Yung mga nangyayari ngayon. So, we just hope for the best nga na, ayun, basta, ang wish ko lang sa inyo, stay healthy. And, palagi lang tayong masaya. Di ba? Yan yung pinaka-importante.
You should send us some invites at bisitahin ka namin dyan sa Canada.
Oo naman.
Sandali lang naman yan.
Oo naman.
Sasakay lang kami ng jeep nandiyan na kami.
Isang sakay lang, andito na. Welcome kayo guys. Welcome kayo. So, nako, again, thank you guys so much. So, I really appreciate yan. Palakpakan natin si Andy Gold. Ayan. Siyempre, si John Derrickson din. At ito ang ating kaibigan din si Brian Ligsay, DJ Brian. Ayan. Maraming salamat and you guys are welcome once again na siyempre makipag-usap sa atin at makipagbigay aliw sa ating mga viewers. So kaya yan mga
Thank you,
kaibigan.
David.
Thank you.
Thank you,
David
Bernie.
Hart.
No worries.
Bernie.
Yeah, we'll
David
see you again
Bernie
next
Hart.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so salamat po.
Adios.
Ako naman, magpapaalam. This has been David Hart. Goodbye for now.